I don't care how talented you think you are. I don't care how hard you work. I don't give a fuck. If you don't have a great manager in the music business, you are fucked. Period.
Hi, Beth.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm good.
I appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. No, thank you, man.
I love the record that you did, this Zeppelin tribute album. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you. God, it was a good time thank you, Scotty. It was a good time making it. Thank God we got to make it during the pandemic lockdown. Oh my God. Save me.
So it was recorded mostly during that?
Oh yeah, everything was, I mean, in terms of the orchestration, that had already been done by Rob Cavallo and the arranger. And the project was done for a Broadway show that was going to be for Led Zeppelin, no singing, just an orchestra. And the project fell through. And I didn't know anything about it. I was in the middle of making War in My Mind with Rob Cavallo. And one day we had the choir that was singing on a song called Let It Grow in the main room. And I was in the console room with Doug, the engineer, and Rob. And in break, we had lunch break, and Rob said, hey, I know you know the song Whole Lotta Love. I got an orchestral version of it. Would you mind laying down a quick vocal? And I said, sure. So I took a pass, and then I looked over at him to see if he was happy, and he was filming. And he said, do me a favor, do it one more time. And I said, okay. I did it one more time, and then when I was done, he said, cool, let's get back to work. So we finished War in My Mind, and then when I did promo run, and then I did only one tour, a 6-week run, got home, lockdown. That was the beginning of pandemic. And I get a call, hey, Rob wants to know if you want to do the whole Zeppelin record. And I said, no way in the world, for a few reasons. One, I didn't feel that same kind of rage that I felt when I was young, when I was doing a lot more hard rock. And probably because I'd been on, antipsychotics for 15 years straight. And then I was off them for 5 years. And then I was on them before that. Wow. So that was dampening, all of who I was. That's what those kind of drugs do. And I was in the process of getting off the antipsychotics. We have to come off so slowly, like over a period of 2-3 years when you've been on them so long.
I have to do that as well. It's crazy.
It's horrible. And even when I finally got off, I had to go on beta blockers for my heart for 3 months because my resting heart rate was 150. And even on beta blockers, it was 130. It was insane. But I was just, those drugs are not meant to be. They were created to just for 5 weeks. You're supposed to be on them while lithium builds up in your system. And I refused to go on lithium. So anyway, I was in the process of getting off of that. And I had my mother, who I moved in here to protect her from COVID, which was a really bad idea. And then all this stuff, the marching, the inequality of marching, and people saying there was no such thing as inequality, and just people being assholes, and not supporting what, people fighting for equality, and just all of it, and I got really scared. And usually when I get really scared, I get really angry. So here I am, angry, and I call Wolf and I said, have Rob send me everything. I mean, everything, because I didn't have any Zeppelin. I never listened to Zeppelin growing up. The only stuff I heard was like my neighbors when I was a kid would play like Black Dog, which I really loved that. I love Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. It always made me think of my dad. My dad left when I was really young. I love those two songs. And the only reason why I knew a whole lot of love is because my band, when I was like 30, they said, we really want you to learn this song. So we did it in like one of our
had
old
on that
DVDs.
Yeah, the whole live record, right?
Yeah, Live at the Paradiso. So that was it. And so I needed everything on them, their records, their live stuff. And then of course Rob had already recorded all the orchestrations for that show. So there were medleys and all this stuff, but there wasn't drums, guitars, and bass and all that. It was just an 88-piece orchestra. Wow. So because we were on lockdown, we had trucks come up, and I have a studio here, but it's not for recording. It's just for writing, rehearsing, that kind of thing. So these trucks would come up, and my husband on his own would have to load in all this equipment. And then I would see Rob on Zoom at his studio. And then I'd see Doug, the engineer, at his studio on Zoom. And then I'd just sing into the mic to these orchestral tracks. And we'd take like 2 or 3 songs, and then for one session, and then I wouldn't see them again for like 2-3 months. Thank God, because I had time to really saturate my mind with being able to sing this stuff. So I was scared to death to do this stuff. I'm a female doing the ultimate male man's world of rock and roll, especially at that time. And then B, I did have the rage. It came back, like I explained to you. So I had that, but I didn't know if I had it before that. But also I was like, man, how am I going to do this stuff where I respect Plant, but at the same time, if I had to write it, who would I write it about? Because if I couldn't write it, there'd be no reason to sing it. It would be really pretentious and kind of phony, you know? So that was like challenging. It was not just, you know, hitting the notes of Plant, but doing it in a way that was respectful to the way that they'd written it, but also if I had to make it my own, what it would be. So it was really fortunate that I didn't have to go in and make this record in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? That I got to take 1 or 2 songs or 3 songs sometimes per session, and then get a break for like 3 months and get ready for the next 2 or 3. You know what I mean? And then take another break for a few months. So that was really great having that time. But man, it was nerve-wracking, man. Every time freaking we do the session, thankfully, you know, working with Rob and Doug on War in My Mind was so great because they knew the kind of girl I was. I get very nervous, very scared, and very self-doubting with my own material, let alone with Led Zeppelin. I mean, hello, that's like hollowed ground, you know? So they could see how freaking nervous I was. And so they know me well enough on how to self-soothe me and show me out. You know, and they're like, you got this, girl. Be like, oh man, yeah, we'll see what happens, you know. But Rob and Doug were so amazing. They're amazing guys. They're loving and empathetic and patient. And then, you know, I'll tell you, man, and every time I tell this part, I always start crying. So I hope to God I don't start crying right now. But oh God, I know it's gonna come. But at the end of all of it, when the lockdown lifted, was when we finally got to go to Rob's studio and at his house and listen to his mixes. And when we got there, that's when I heard Crozier on the drums and Matt Laug on his drums for, you know, Stairway to Heaven, and then Chris Chaney, who'd done bass for me on War in My Mind, playing his ass off as always, and then Steve Pierce playing guitar. And Steve had played all over my War in My Mind, and then Rob on his acoustic guitar. And I just fell on my knees crying. And then, of course, he picks the song, which is like my favorite, which is the Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You for my dad, you know? And I literally fell on my knees and I started crying and I kissed his knee. And I thanked him, you know, for just being such a rad dude. And, you know, and helping me get through this project because, you know, like, pandemic was fucking hell for everybody, but here I got to be so challenged and humbled by one of the greatest bands in history ever. You know, 100 years from now, people are still going to play Led Zeppelin. You know, it's like Bach, it's like Beethoven, it's like that shit's going to be played forever. And here I got to make this album with the most kind, amazing people that just killed it. I mean, they just killed it. And then I got to be a part of that.
You did such an amazing job, though. I mean, the record is so awesome. Man. It's so awesome.
That's all Rob Cavallo, man. I can't take no credit for that shit, man. That dude and all the people he got, and you know, as scared as I am, that's Rob too. That's how he gets. He cares so much about everything he does. That's why you look at his discography and all the albums he's made.
Oh, it's insane.
It's insane. But you see why? Because he cares so much. And I'm sure he's got an ego. We all do. But he puts that shit aside and does his job, man. And what's the job? The most important job is it's always about the song. It's never about the producer. It's never about the singer. It's never about the drummer. It's about the song.
Mhm.
And that's what he does. He surrounds himself with people that make it about the only thing that will ever matter. And that's the piece of music. And that's what I fucking love about Rob and Doug and about all those musicians that played.
Mhm.
It's that, you know, yeah, sure, you got an ego. Sure, you want people to like what you do. And you got, otherwise you just stay at home and play for yourself. You'd never go out in the world and try and make it as a career, right? We
Mhm.
know that. But like to be able to put aside that and focus on what matters most, it's a pleasure, working with people like that,
Mhm.
and very
Yeah, I mean,
healing.
yeah, and I mean the records that he's done is like you said is Green Day records, the Goo Goo Doll records, even the My Chemical Romance record. I mean, they're all platinum, some of the biggest records ever done.
Yeah, and that Alanis Morissette, I'm an Invited. He only did that one song. That won him Best Producer of the Year. Was just
That's
doing that
crazy.
track.
Just one
And
song.
yeah, and all she sent him was that piano part that goes ding ding ding. That's all she sent him. And he built the
Whoa.
whole mother fricka. I mean, that thing is
You can swear,
extraordinary.
by the way. I don't know if you care. I don't
Okay,
want you to feel
sorry.
like you have to
I'm
censor
well.
yourself.
The thing is that my pastor had gotten me to completely stop cussing. She's the funniest. I love her.
Oh,
She's a
that's
little
amazing.
Korean lady. And
Uh-huh.
I completely stopped cussing. And then when pandemic hit, I was like, fuck it. And I totally went back to cursing again. So I was just saying to my husband, I was like, dude, you got to remind me each night when I go on stage to just try not to curse like I normally do, dude, because it really bothers some people. I don't want to bother anybody, man. But it feels so good to cuss again. I mean,
I don't
fuck,
want to.
that word is a great word.
It really
Especially,
is.
especially motherfucker. Motherfucker's the best of all of them. That's my favorite, man. Oh,
Oh
God.
wow. Well, like I
Uh,
said, the record is so amazing, and I was watching the Black Dog music video, and I love in the
yeah.
beginning when you're like, okay, we can't have the music. I'm sure it's some copyright thing. And you're like, you just play the song along. So I have Spotify up, and it took me like 5 or 6 minutes, but I ended up syncing the thing up beautifully, and it was awesome.
But you know what's unfortunate that's not on the record? So
Huh.
if you would have gotten the actual music video, it's funny because in the background before we started one of the takes, I said, motherfuckers, you should have a big old smile on your face because we're making music and we could be digging ditches and be in jail. And that's how it started. But
Oh wow.
that was just for the video. And yeah, that wasn't for on the album, obviously. But yeah,
Right.
so yeah, it's kind
No,
of funny though.
it's amazing, and then you sync it up, and it's perfect. And I love
That's
the
great.
edits where, like, on the drums, it's like a half, like it's almost like you stop by a frame or two, and it's like that. You know what I mean? It like matches up perfectly. And I'm watching. I'm like, this is such a great video. And you must
That's
have
awesome.
been, and then I watched it without the music because I was just interested at this point. And like
Yeah.
just how hard you're going, and it's like, can you imagine?
And
Like someone
we
didn't
did
even
two
know.
music. We did 2 music videos that day.
Did you really?
Yeah. So we did
Wow.
Black Dog that day, and then we did what's going to be the next
Single?
release
Oh,
after.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
You
so
did a
fun.
great job. It's so good.
Thank you. That's Greg Watermann, man. That dude is a maniac, man. He's Pitbull's right-hand man. And I don't know if
Oh,
you
is
know
that
that.
right?
Yeah, like Pitbull doesn't sleep. Like the dude is one of those rare people that only needs like 3 hours for his enzymes to turn over and he's ready to go.
Oh,
So he
wow.
like
I wish I was
literally
like
like
that.
I know, right? It's insane. People that they just don't need a lot of literally. They only need that much for their enzymes to turn over. And then they are
Wow.
totally refreshed. And that's why he's such a workhorse. So Greg is attached to Pitt for years and he lives with Pitt. But Greg started working with me when I was 29. And that dude, he is so good. He's so talented. And he loves to do things really raw. But he's just one of the funniest, coolest guys, but not hyper like me. He's super mellow, but he's funny. He's a really good dude. He did a good job on that. Wait till you see the next one, man. He did a
I can't wait.
killer job on that. It's really cool.
Is it going to be similar with? I mean, maybe you can't even answer that without the music.
Well, it's in the same warehouse, but we had this badass warehouse in downtown. I've never seen anything so rad. I wish I could just send you the pictures of the artist that painted the outside of this massive evil clown. It is
Okay.
one of the most incredible paint jobs I've ever seen. But on the inside, there's all these different stories and rooms and like cells and crazy shit. And we got to have that whole compound. And we had a lockout for 2 days. But Greg is so badass that we just started in the morning. And I think we finished at like 1 a.m. and we were done. And so we didn't
Whoa.
even have to use it the next day. Yeah, we had a great crew and it was a lot of fun, but it is different. It's very different. It's not in black and white. It morphs. It's trippy. It looks like it's melting.
Oh,
It's
cool.
really cool. They did a really cool job.
I can't wait to see it. You said what
Yeah.
else stuck out to me is you said you sang and I don't know if this went for the final recording, but you said you sang the record over just the orchestral parts. Is that what ended up making the album?
No, that's why I
Oh,
was
okay.
telling you when I got to when I finally got to go listen to the after the lockdown had lifted and we got to for the first time go listen to the mixes. That's when I went, what
Okay.
the frick? Because that's when I heard bass, drums,
Okay.
guitars, like I was saying, Steve and freaking
Mhm.
Chris and freaking Crozier and those maniacs playing. And I remember when I met with Crozier at when we did the 2 music videos, I said to him, yo man, I don't know your fucking name, but is it okay if I call you bad motherfucker? And by the way, no, listen, I swear to God, this is what I said to him. I said, and by the way, you need to call your accountancy and have them legally change your name to bad motherfucker. So when the cops pull you over, they have to say, excuse me, motherfucker, can you get out of the car? Because he plays his ass off. I mean, he is the star of that record, man. You listen to him play those drums.
Oh,
It's
it's
like,
insane.
what the? It's insane. It's insane. He just
So,
killed it.
and so
Killed
you're
it.
able to like vibe off that, obviously, and then go in and then just sing your ass off.
No, I didn't get to
Oh,
have any of that when I sang. When I sang,
yeah,
it
you
was
sang it over
only
just
to
the
the orchestra.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's just the orchestra. So your
yeah.
voice is that, I mean, you were into it that much and like that powerful over
Well, no,
just that
I just
orchestra.
studied the shit out of it. That's what I
Okay.
did. I studied it, and then I remember reading in a book when I was 19 that the manager of the Comedy Store, because I would work sound at the Comedy Store when I was a teenager,
Uh-huh.
and the manager of the Comedy Store, I was kind of dating him a little bit, and he had given me this book called The Tao of Leadership, and it said if you want to master anything, you got to study to the point of where you can exactly do that of which who you're studying, and then you have to completely let it go and walk your own path. But you can't walk your own path until you've absolutely learned it exactly. So like
Mhm.
I would study and listen to Plants, Crunge, all of it over and over and over. I mean, incessantly. And I'm an addict anyway. So like when I'm out in the
Mhm.
garden, it's 12 hours, when I'm
Same here. I
songwriting,
know. I
it's
did
2 days. You know
read
what I
that
mean?
about you, and I'm like, okay, we
Right.
can relate on that level as well.
Right. Yeah, just everything that has to be over the top.
Of
So
course,
it's
all
like all
in.
day freaking long. Yeah, listening, and then having to let it go. So that was the thing with that was that was so scary is that I was afraid to let it go. And I remembered making the mistake of my last record I did with Joe Bonamassa, we did a record called Black Coffee.
Hmm.
And instead of me letting go of Steve Marriott, which is what I should have done, I just tried to do it exactly like Steve Marriott. And I remember thinking afterwards what a cheap shot that was that I did. That wasn't cool. It's not respectful to Steve. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Even though he's gone, it doesn't matter. It's like you can't, like respect the artist, but if you're going to cover somebody, have the balls to also do your own thing. And I didn't have that on the song Black Coffee. So I didn't want to try and do that here. I
Hmm.
wanted to show respect to Plant, but in a way where I'm like, all right, dude, the stuff that you're doing, I'm trying to do you, but also at the same time, show the respect of not just trying to copycat you,
Hmm.
which
Yeah,
is
and you
kind of
nailed
gross.
that. And like even just kind of like the little subtle tweaks on the word, like the lyrics, like even in Black Dog, just like the way you kind of tweaked when instead of saying, be your man or and then you kind of just shifted
Oh,
a
no,
little bit.
oh, no. You mean on A Whole Lot of Love? I want to be your
Oh,
backdoor. I say I want to be your backdoor tramp
oh, that's
instead
what
of
it
man.
was. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what it was. I knew that there was like a
yeah,
little tweaks in there, and I was like, oh, okay, that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. But on
Yeah.
Black Dog, I definitely left it as me, going after a woman because I'm bisexual. So I was
Okay.
like, fuck yeah, I'm all over that all day.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
that one. Yeah, okay, that was
Yeah.
the song. I
Yeah.
remember you twisted it a little bit. I was like, oh, that's amazing. I'm curious. So was the orchestra done for? Now that you brought it up, this it was going to be a Broadway show. Is that what you said? And like, was that
Yeah,
the
I
whole
think so.
piece? And because there's
Yeah.
two versions of Dancing Days. Like it goes Dancing Days, and then it beautifully transitions into When the Levee Breaks, and then when it comes out of that, it's
It
back
goes back
into
into
like the
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, tell me, like,
Yep.
was that just the mastermind of the whole thing?
That's all Rob Cavallo, man. That's
Okay,
him and the arranger that arranged all that for that orchestra. That's who and those are the only two partners involved in that project.
whoa,
And then the whole thing, I don't know the story, but I
uh-huh.
just know I heard something about Broadway, and
Okay,
I knew that they had done that for some project that I think had to do with Broadway, and then it fell through.
hmm,
So they were sitting there with these amazing medleys, and we did a lot more than what ended. So 13 pieces, or sorry, 9 pieces ended up being on the album, and we recorded, I believe, 16. So he chose the best of the 16 pieces. So some
okay,
were single songs and some were medleys, like
yeah,
what are
because it
on there.
kind of goes, yeah, because it goes in and then it comes out into another song and then it goes right back into kind of the ending
Yeah,
chorus of Dancing Days.
yeah,
It's great,
yeah. It's
and I
so cool, man.
and I love the song choices. I mean, just like the whole album is
Yeah, that's
incredible.
all Rob. That's all Rob
Yeah.
Cavallo's choices, and also the order. That's
Oh
all his
yeah.
order. It's all Rob,
Which is
man. Yep.
important. I mean, one of the most important pieces of the
Oh
whole
my
thing.
God. I know. Absolutely. War in my mind. Every time I make an album, it's like that's where I go my most crazy is when during mixing, and then when it comes to album listening. Because even though nowadays a lot of people don't listen to albums, they just stream a
Yeah.
song. Still, man, I'm old school, and I like when I buy someone's record, I like to listen down to the whole motherfucking thing,
Same here.
in the order they play. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
I mean, yeah, there's something to
yeah.
be said about that. And I've said this in interviews before, just like, yeah, you choose, I mean, Stairway to Heaven, just off of this new record is number 3 because that was why they didn't just go, okay, this sounds good at number, there's the third one we finished. We'll just put that at number 3. I mean, like it's all, there's like so much science and moving the songs around to make it so it flows a certain way. And that's awesome to hear
Totally.
that's kind of the part that you spend a lot of time on is making sure that that a record flows that
Yeah,
way.
that
That's awesome.
flow, that it flows. By the way, I know this sounds weird to just throw this out to you. I just want to ask you, are you aware of the rapper E40? He's been around forever.
Yes. Yeah. He's from the Bay
Okay,
Area. Yeah.
yes, from the Bay
Okay.
Area. So do you know the song that he did with Prohozak and Sugar Free called $19 Lap Dance?
Yes, I do know that song.
Dude, so I'm at the strip club. Wait a minute. I'm at the strip club like 3 weeks ago, right? And I'm sitting there with my little brother, Bobby. I call him my little brother, but he's not my real brother. My best friend, Ron, found him on the street and takes care of me. He's he's 24. He's great. He's a fucking
Wow.
killer kid. Just went through a lot of trauma though.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I've got him, and he's gay too. So I take him to the freaking strip club. It's so classic. And I got him a lap dance, and he tells the stripper before she gets, it's an all nude too. And
Okay.
before she gives him a lap dance, he's such a cutie. He goes, by the way, I'm gay. I love him anyway. So he goes into the bathroom, and I'm sitting there in the club, and all of a sudden I hear, I got $19 for a lap dance, but I only got $1 for a cigarette. And I fell off my chair, dude. So listen, I had my guitar tech, Joey, who's also a producer. I flew it over to him and said, yo, you got to fucking take this motherfucker, loop it. This is what's going to be playing for all of our shows from now on before we take the stage.
That is hilarious.
It's going to be funny, man. I can't wait. I bet you at least 30 people are going to get up and walk out before we even hit the stage.
Yeah. They're like, what's going on?
I know. So fun.
Oh, that's
I just think
amazing.
that song is so funny.
That's so
Oh,
funny.
God.
I don't know if you mind just backing up a little bit here. I'm just curious. So you're born and raised in LA?
Yeah.
Okay, born and
Yeah.
raised in LA, and you started playing piano at a very, very early age. Was that the first instrument you learned?
Yes. Yeah, I was
Okay.
4 when I started on piano. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. Did you just have a knack for it? Are you just interested in it, or?
I think it was just like child trauma and stuff, because
Oh,
to
okay.
me the piano represented I mean, you probably think it's really cheesy, but to me, what it represented was God. And I was never raised in a religious family,
Hmm.
but I think because there was so much, fucking horrible shit going on, that I had to have something I was talking to. So
Hmm.
to me, the piano was like safety, the hand of God.
Hmm.
And I remember my first recital, I didn't play, Mary Had a Little Lamb. I played a song I'd written, no singing. It was just music.
Whoa.
So my sister Sharon, who died many years ago,
Hmm.
beautiful sister Sharon. I remember at that recital, she because I was so scared and nervous, that she, sat me at the piano and she stayed right by my side while I played it. And she was
Oh,
great. She was the best. Yeah,
that's so
Sharon.
cool. That is so
Sharon
incredible.
was
So she just
awesome.
sat next to you right on the piano bench while
Yeah.
you did it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Sharon was a stripper too. And I think that's why I love strippers so much. I have so much respect for them
Hmm.
because, she was a stripper, and that's how she met her husband, who was Jakey Lee, who replaced Randy Rhoads for Ozzy Osbourne. And that's who they had their daughter Jade with. And then,
Wow.
yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah. So I have a lot of respect for strippers, I think, because of that.
Hmm. Hmm. And
Yeah.
you went to a performing arts school in LA as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, where I met actually my best friend Ron, who takes care of who I call my little brother Bobby. I met Ronnie, but
Oh.
I'd ran away. I lived in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, with this Cuban motherfucker who was 24 when I was 14, and I lived there with him for a little while. And so when I finally made it to high school performing arts, I was late into the year, so I got in there in like late November, and I met Ron. And then, of course, the school kicked me out at the end of the year. And then I only did a half year more in the 11th grade at Glendale High. And that's when I just told the principal, I said, this is what happened today, and I'm out of here. And the
Hmm.
principal didn't argue with me. She said, I absolutely understand. I'm going to put you not as a dropout. I'm going to put you as a transfer into real estate school, Realty World, and that way you
Interesting.
won't be put down as a dropout. Yeah. So I didn't
Wow.
get an official dropout, but she was great. I loved my
Yeah.
principals and school counselors. They were great.
That is
Yeah.
great. And then you from there, was it just you just started to play out? And I mean, you said you had a job
Oh,
running
I was,
sound at the comedy store.
yeah, but I was already playing out. I started playing out at 16, and I
Okay.
couldn't make any money in Hollywood. So I hit South Central, me and Ron. And what we would do
Mm.
is we would play all these different clubs where you'd give your sheet music to the house band. And there were so many clubs down there that you could hit. And what was cool is you'd get one song,
Uh-huh.
and if they liked you, the people would come up in a line and give you a few dollars a piece while you were singing.
Wow.
And then if they didn't like you, they'd take you off the stage and kick you the frick out of the club. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they
Well,
do. And you could come back the next week, but if you didn't do good, you got kicked out. You weren't allowed into the club. And it was
whoa.
so fun. And there were so many great singers, so many great musicians. Kev Mo, his real name is Kevin Moore. He was the guitar player of the house band of the Page Four. And then when the riots happened, not only did so much stuff get burned down there, but a lot of the owners burned their own places down for insurance. So it ended all of that for us. But that's
That's
what we were doing
unfortunate.
for those years to make money.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. But you could obviously
Yeah.
write and read music to the extent of being able to hand sheet music over with
Oh, no, no,
your
no, no, no. It
stuff.
wasn't
Oh.
my own music. No, no. It was just like Aretha
Oh.
Franklin's Dr.
Okay.
Feelgood
Sorry,
or
sorry,
stuff
sorry.
like
Okay.
that. That kind of stuff. Yeah.
I understand
Yeah.
now. Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, whoa, you're
Hmm.
writing sheet music and just being like, here, play my stuff. Let's
No,
go.
no, that's the thing. You know what? With all the years of piano and all the years of cello, because I started playing cello in the
Hmm.
fourth grade, I don't know how to read any music. I faked it out by listening. The cello, I knew a little bit enough because I played cello forever all the way through 11th grade. So I went to high school performing arts for a double major. It was classical singing and for cello.
Hmm.
But for piano, I never learned to read. So Mrs. Davis, once I hit the age of seven,
Hmm.
7 or 8, and the material started getting harder, she went, "Why are you not playing that right?" And I'm like, and I told her, I said, "You fricked up." I mean, I didn't say fricked up. I said, "But you would always play these songs for me before you send them home." And when you're young, your ear is so good.
Hmm.
Kids are, their brains, that whatever she played that day, I would just remember it. So when I'd say I was reading, I wasn't really reading until the material started getting harder and I couldn't remember everything she would play that day that
Oh,
she'd send me home with the material. Yeah. And
wow.
so she let me go. She said, "That's it. You're out of here. Not doing this
Really?
anymore."
Instead of
Yeah.
just like encouraging the fact that you could pick it up by
She was
ear?
so pissed. She was so pissed. But she was so rad, and she was a rad painter. And she
Okay.
had this huge thing down below her house of the most amazing that's where she rocked. And she had long black hair past her ass. She looked like a witch, but a beautiful witch.
Uh-huh.
And just, she was so awesome. I loved her. She got me really inspired into painting. She was a great painter.
When
Yeah.
did you start? Like, I mean, obviously you were playing in these places in South Central, but like, when did you start, like writing songs and performing your own songs in front of people?
So I was writing when, in terms of singing and writing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right when I went to my evil sister's birthday party. And up until then, I had only been using her poetry and putting it to music and singing it, right?
Oh, okay.
So I'd go to places like the Belly Room at the Comedy Store,
Mm-hmm.
or at different little places in Hollywood where you don't get paid any money, but you can get up with a backing track of your own music. So I met this producer named Jeff
Mm-hmm.
Tozer, who was my second manager when I was 16. My first manager was Seymour Heller when I was 15. And then
Wow.
I was with Jeff Tozer when I was 16. But Jeff Tozer wasn't my manager at first. He was just a guy that I went to have tracks made for songs that I'd been writing, so that I could have these tapes. And then I'd go to these different places, not in South Central, but up in Hollywood, just to
Mm-hmm.
try and get with a manager, right? I was seeking out a manager because I'd let Seymour Heller go. So I'd sit up and have these tracks played to these cassette tapes. You
Mm-hmm.
just stick in and you'd sing along to it. And that's how I met Jeff. And then when Jeff, it was my 18th birthday. And I said, oh, it's my birthday today. And he goes, oh, how old are you? And I said, I'm 18. He goes, what? I thought you were 30. And I said, no, I'm 18. And he goes, I want to sign you. I want to manage you. And that's who I went and did Star Search with when I was 20.
Okay.
And then we won. And then he released on his label our first record, which was an indie record on Raz Records. That was before I got signed to Atlantic.
Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Whoa.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's how you got into Star Search, and then you ended up winning. Yeah, you won Star Search,
yep,
and then you
yep.
put a record out, and then from there, I mean, the deal with Atlantic came what after the record came out and it was doing well.
No, that record did nothing. It did
Oh,
terrible. We were
okay.
doing these college shows. He wouldn't let me play piano because he had to be the piano player. I could only
Mhm.
play percussion. And at the colleges, maybe 20 people show up, sometimes more. But
Mhm.
it was just a dud. It sucked as an album. Everything about it sucked. And then I spent that money so fast that I ended up playing on the streets in where you could make money
Mhm.
in Santa Monica, which is a guitar case open. I had a guitar player, bass player, Frank Aguatore, Jimmy Corey on guitar. And that's where I met my third manager, who now I've been with for 27 years, Dave Wolf. And he
Whoa.
saw me singing on the street and literally got me a record deal, a three-way signed record deal with Atlantic, which was Ron, who was CEO, then Jason Flom, who had Lava, which was a
Mhm.
subsidiary,
Yeah.
and Dave Foster, who had 143, which was a subsidiary. But I mean, after all those years of trying to get a deal, I didn't know that Jeff, because we went in and met with Jimmy Iovine at Interscope.
That's
He offered
crazy.
me a deal, but Jeff turned it down because the deal with Jeff, which he didn't let me know this at the time, was if they didn't have him as producer, it was a no way deal. And all these labels were
Oh.
like, dude, we're choosing the producer that we think is best for her. But
Mhm.
he didn't tell me any of that. And I found all that out later.
Oh, I'm sure that didn't make you too happy. but,
No, didn't make
but
me too
it
happy.
obviously, I
No,
mean, it worked out in the end. I mean,
it did.
yeah, I
David's
mean,
been the best.
and you've
David's been
had
the
him
best.
for, yeah, for, you said 27 years. That's incredible.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's like my family. Absolutely great man.
Mhm.
And smart, smart as fuck. But he's also incredibly moral. And that's what I love about David. He's
Mhm.
smart. He knows how to do contracts, but he's not out to fuck anybody ever. That's not his style. And I love that about him. He's a good
Yeah.
guy.
And
He's a
that's,
good
yeah,
guy.
those are people are few and far between, I would imagine, especially in
Yeah.
the industry and being a young artist, like
Yeah.
how easy would it be to take advantage of somebody like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And I
incredible.
remember when I met him, I was already so burned out on the business
Mhm.
that I had said no to him. And my guitar player put his hand, he's a drama queen like me, put his hand through a window and cut his finger and went to the hospital and said, I might not ever be able to play guitar again. You got to get with this manager. He's going to get us freaking on top, man. You can't turn this guy down. And I'm like, man, fuck the music business and fuck managers. And then I said, all right, I'll have a meeting with him if he plays cards, because I'm really good at telling how good someone's hustle is. And I can read people real well when I play cards with them. So David agreed. Yeah. So David agreed to play cards with me.
What did you play? Poker?
We don't know. We just played Uno. It was just a stupid freaking kids game.
I love that game.
It's a great game. I love Uno. Now we play a different game, of course, but that game at that time, I didn't know Wow Wow Wolf yet, and that was a game that Wolf actually invented, and it's a crossbreed between hearts, spades, and one other, canasta. So if you took canasta, spades, and hearts, and you mix the three, that's this game, and it's so addicting. It's incredible. But obviously I didn't know him. I hadn't learned his game yet. So we sat there for 3 hours and played Uno. And then when we were done, I looked at him and I said, you can be my manager. You're a badass motherfucker. Let's do it. And that was it.
Wow. Oh my gosh. How did you know he was a badass on the Uno game? Did he call Uno when you had one card before you did? It was like Uno.
No, so when I play cards with someone, whether it's a kid's game or not, it doesn't matter. It's how they work their whole energy. So I can tell if they can hustle. I can tell if they're a cruel hustler. In other words, if they're a cheater, right?
Right.
Or I can tell if they're a real hustler. And that, like a good pimp versus a bad pimp. So a good pimp is someone who actually takes care of his girls. And he does his gig like a basketball player. He knows the game. And then you got shitty pimps that try and be badasses when really all they're out to do is beat the crap out of the girls because they feel so bad about themselves inside. And that's not someone who knows how to play the game. So that's what I look at when I play cards. Are you a good pimp? Or are you a bad, shitty pimp? And I could tell he was a good one.
Is that something you've had is that something you still do to this day? I mean, play cards with people that you don't know very well, or like how many times did you have to
love playing cards?
Well, how many times did you have to do that to choose people? Like, is there another big moment that you're like, you can remember?
Oh, you mean like other people like that I've worked with?
Like an industry person that you're like, okay, yeah, like, is there anyone you can think of? Like, I wouldn't work with that producer, or like you did because you played cards with them.
Okay. No, not with that. No, just with management, because management is so deep. It's a personal manager, so deep. It's so imperative. I don't care how talented you think you are. I don't care how hard you work. I don't give a fuck. If you don't have a great manager in the music business, you are fucked. Period. That's just it. Unless you're one of those genius people that can manage themselves like that. Who's that one dude? He's an incredible rapper. McDonald. Tom McDonald. That dude's insane. Even though his style he's such a genius, but I don't like his narrative. It's just, I don't want to say racist, but it just seems like he's gone a little too far to the right for my taste.
Okay.
So to me, but you can't deny the fact that Tom McDonald is brilliant in his visuals and in his ability to rap, just like Machine Gun Kelly. I mean, that motherfucker pisses me off, but he's so talented. And I hate what he went way below the belt with Eminem. He fucked himself with that. You know that, right? With that freaking rap devil, when he freaking went for his daughter like that, it was like, you just wait, motherfucker. And then Eminem comes back with Kill Shot and just levels his ass. It's so great. And it's like, you can't mess with Eminem, you stupid little motherfucker. But still, you can't deny that kind of talent. There's still so much talent there, right? So, but with Tom McDonald, I know that he manages himself. He runs his own record company. He produces himself, writes himself. So literally, he's 100% independent. But that's so rare that people have that ability to do that. And I'm certainly not one that can. So for me, when it comes to like personal management, I did know at a young age, it's imperative. You have to have that, or you will be screwed. Yeah.
Because he's out there trying to, he's fighting for you, correct? I mean, getting you stuff to do and kind of selling you and your like what you were doing, what you had to offer to other people?
Well, basically, he makes sure that other people don't fuck me,
Okay.
period.
Sure.
And then also he has a whole team that he's built, from my attorneys to, the people that run all my business management to road managers and different promoters and different agents and all of that. So all those relationships are all from David. And then he's so good to people and respectful that he never burns a bridge, not even when we come across assholes from time to time. He still knows how to handle it in a respectful manner. And that's what I love about David. And then when it comes to contracts, forget about it. He's just incredible. He's really smart. He's got a business degree. He's crazy smart. So even when I send my stuff to attorneys to look over, like Beanstalk, Ron Beanstalk, who I've been with for 27 years, Wolf always looks over it first, so he knows how to look at all that stuff. And I remembered Geza X. I don't know if you ever know Geza X because you're young, but he was an old punker from back in the day.
The name
So
sounds familiar. I'm
he's
37. I'm not super young.
Okay. Well, Geza was like the producer of Black Flag, Dead Kennedys, a lot of really early West Coast punk.
Okay.
And I was his background singer for a little while when I was a kid.
Really? Whoa.
Yeah. And his girlfriend was Susie Cotton. And
I love Susie Cotton.
Do you remember her?
Yeah, well, I interviewed her a couple times for this show. She's amazing.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, I love her.
This is back when I was a teenager, and I remember sitting on the couch with her because she too was doing background for Geza, because Geza and her were boyfriend and girlfriend. He was living at her house.
He was living with her, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't believe that you know her. I can't believe it's so crazy, man. And I remember her turning to me, and I said, "If you had any advice to give me, what would it be?" And she looked me right in the eye, and she was like 40 at the time, and she said, "If you don't have a great manager, you're screwed." And I was like, whoa, okay, right on, man. Thank you. And I was 19 at the time. So yeah, she was the one that planted that seed. She goes, whatever you do, you just make sure you have a great manager.
Wow. Yeah, Josie Cotton's so cool. I talked when she put out the Flatten the Curve song like at the beginning of COVID, and she had all these people on the song. I don't know if you've heard it.
I didn't hear it. I didn't even know she was still making music.
Yeah, she put this record out, and I think it was maybe it's just one song, but it's got like all these different people on it, and it was really cool. I mean, it was when we thought COVID was going to be 2 weeks, and she'd put this song out, and
she's got to be like 70.
She's still killing it though. It's crazy.
Oh my God, I got to go online and say, how does she look?
She looks good. Yeah.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I interviewed her twice. Once about something else, and then the other time was about the Flatten the Curve song. It was so cool.
So I got a question for you. How come you don't have an Italian accent, man?
Well, because I'm not Italian.
I was told you were.
I'm not. No, I'm my grandparents are from one set of grandparents are Slovak, and the other are Greek.
Oh, but you live in Italy?
No, I think you're thinking of somebody else.
They told me I had the freaking interview with the dude from Italy today.
Oh, no. I would be cool if I was living in it.
Where are you calling from?
I'm in Nashville. I'm originally from San Diego.
Oh my God, you live in Nashville.
Uh-huh. I just moved here like a year ago. So
okay, I'm so excited. I'm gonna set you up right now. Wait, hold on for 1 second. Scotty! Wait, you guys, hey you guys, I'm doing an interview. Have you guys seen Gets Go? Sorry about that. I got the earphones on. Have you seen Gets Go? Oh shit. Okay, do you remember the name of the place where we went and saw those badass dudes who we love so much that we played? Remember in Nashville? The freaking dudes who played the freaking killer upright bass, and I bought their record. Do you remember the name of the club? Because this dude lives in Nashville, and I gotta turn him on to this place.
I will look it up in my library because I have videos from there.
Oh my God, dude, you are gonna be in heaven. I'm serious.
Okay.
And I'm even gonna go downstairs right now. Hope I don't lose you. And I'm gonna show you the record I bought from them. No, I'm telling you. All the
this is awesome.
Freaking Nashville. No, dude. Nashville, I fucking love it. You know why? Not because of the songwriters there. The songwriters are suck ass, and you can put that in the article. I don't give a shit. But let me tell you what I do love there. I love all the artists. in all those clubs, working their asses off, and they're so talented. It's so ridiculous. Door to door to door, talent, talent, talent. And they're making all their money solely off tips. But these dudes right here, man, I'm gonna show you them. They're called the Royal Hounds. This is the album I bought.
I'm just gonna type it in my thing so I don't lose it.
Oh, Scott, I got a question for you. Okay, so I'm not talking to the Italian dude. I'm talking to this young, cute kid who says he's old enough. He's 38. What'd you say? You were 38?
37.
It's fucking young, man. It's fucking young.
Thank you.
So he lives in Nashville, and he's only been there a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's only been there a year. And I wanted to tell him about that awesome place.
Robert's Western World.
Okay, it's called Robert's Western World. That's the name of the bar.
Okay. I'm looking them up.
Please go when the Royal Hounds are playing.
Okay, I will. It's on Broadway. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, it's right by the Ryman. I know exactly where that is.
Yeah, and the Royal Hounds, dude, when I tell you talent, okay, the upright bass player is the best upright bass player I've ever seen in my lifetime. Sings his ass off and writes his ass off. The guitar player is Brazil. Now, you know, Brazilians, they always do it better than everybody else. He's incredible, incredible. He's only been here for a short time. We wrote him a letter so that he could get his, become a citizen here.
Really?
Yeah, he's just a lovely, beautiful guy and plays phenomenal guitar and is young. He's amazing. And then the drummer's a bad motherfucker too. But these guys play for like 6 hours. And I'm not kidding you. You're going to be like this the whole time.
Okay.
And be made happy.
I love it. I'm going to, I just found their website and I'm
wait.
I'm
going to flip you around. Can you see it? Here it is. Can you see it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I know where that is. Okay.
That's it, man.
I know exactly where that is.
Thank you so much, Roxanne. By the way, Roxanne, you look dope with your hair color like that,
They
man.
lightened it a little bit.
Badass, man. You gangster. Love you. Love Roxanne.
Well, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for doing this. You are awesome, Beth.
Yeah.
This is so great.
Oh my God, no, it's my pleasure. Are you kidding? You're doing this for me, man. Are you kidding? I got to be thanking you.
No, you're a legend in this. And
no, man, I got no legend here. No way. Hell no, hell no. Just a working girl, baby. That's it.
I don't know. I'd beg to differ on that end. Well, so the Zeppelin record's out. Is this something you're gonna like go out and play live, or is it just something?
No, we've already done a tour of the States. So we did a 6-week tour recently, and then we leave.
I'm late to the
10th.
Party. I'm sorry. I know.
Yeah,
I know
we were just in Nashville. We just played Nashville on that last 6-week run.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, so you're doing Europe.
Yeah.
Or you're going out.
No.
Okay.
No, we're doing one more tour now of the U.S. We do a 4-week run, and we leave in a couple days. So today we leave on the 10th.
Okay.
So we leave in a couple days for one more round of the States, and then we come home, and then we're going overseas.
How is it with are you just doing this record or are you doing all your songs?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
No. So whenever I put out a record, I always do the same thing. What I do is I have a few songs from the new record that I intermix out night to night, change it up. And then night to night, we change up the whole rest of the show with songs from all the records. So like any of my records, any of the stuff I've done with Joe Bonamassa as well, and we shift it all up. So the band knows just a shitload of songs. And that way we're keeping ourselves on our toes, making our brains work. And then I don't like things to get like Vegas, I don't like things to get too showbiz. So I like to keep it rough edges and keep us on our toes.
I like that. That's so cool. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were doing a special thing and just doing maybe the Zeppelin record or something like that. No, that's amazing.
No, like for the last tour, each night though, we did open up always with Dancing Days into the Levee, or we just go straight into the Levee, and then we follow it with No Quarter into Babe, and then usually that's it. And then we go into like original stuff, and then sometimes we'll pull out Black Dog towards the end. But right now we've been working on Kashmir to add that in. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. That's so cool. And well, again, thank you so much, Beth, for doing this. This has been literally
man, you are so welcome. Absolutely. So now, before I let you go, have you seen the music video, $19?
No, I'll type that in now though.
Please You got to, because if you want to laugh your ass off, you have to watch the video. It's so freaking good, dude.
Okay.
I love those guys. Those guys are the funniest. And that Pro Hozak, that motherfucker is one of the funniest dudes I've ever seen, man, with his tennis shoe and the little cigarette hanging out of it. You got to watch it. But when they start off in the barbershop, no, you're going to laugh your ass off.
I just found
try-
it. I'm
All
gonna
right,
I'm gonna
good.
watch it after. He's sitting at like a
You
news
gotta watch
desk.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, no. That's, I think that's just the single.
Oh, that might just be single. Okay, I gotta find the actual video then.
Yeah, find the actual music video.
Okay, that was the
But
first thing that came up.
that might be it. That might be it. I
Maybe
don't
it just
know.
shows that as a cover and then it'll go into the video. I'll find it. YouTube's
Yeah,
a beautiful
you'll
thing.
laugh.
And I love your plaque behind you for YouTube.
Oh, that's this is not my room. Fuck no, I'd never have that shit up in my room. This is Scott's room.
I would.
But
That's amazing.
Scott's room's badass. Check out fucking Scott's fucking. Look at this motherfucker. My husband is so badass. Check this shit out.
What?
Check out this shit. This is him motorcycling with Randy Castillo, which was his best friend, the drummer from Ozzy, right? Because that's Scott always toured with Randy. Look at my husband going 85 miles an hour, laying
with his
back
feet up.
with his feet up.
What?
And he do that, rolling by people with their kids in the car to scare the shit out of him, and he'd pretend to be asleep. So he'd have his head all the way back just to fuck him up. No, he's so fucking funny. And then this is him with Randy. Yeah, Randy died, unfortunately, but that's Randy and Scotty.
Oh, wow.
And then you see this. This is what my manager David gave to my husband.
Pinball machine?
It's a Corvette though one, because my
cool.
husband has his dad's Corvette.
That's
and then just
sick.
one more thing I gotta show you. This is just how sweet my husband. He's just a doll, man. He's just such a good dude. But he's so much fun. Oh, like see that right there?
Is a rhinoceros?
Yeah, it's a rhinoceros. And you see this one?
Oh yeah.
See that one?
Snake.
Okay, so that's what I wore at my favorite karaoke place, where they have a Christmas Santa hat contest. And I wore that in the Santa contest and went like this for Christmas. Anyway.
Oh man,
so,
and you probably won the competition too. As I mean, for your voice.
Hell no. They kicked my ass out of there. But my best friend runs it, so that's why I go up there.
That's great.
He runs it. Yeah.
Oh, you've already kind of answered this question, but I'm just gonna ask it again because why not? I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists. I know you said the manager thing, but.
Yeah, number one advice is this. Please do not determine your value as an artist based on if you're rich, famous, or have a record deal. Please don't do that. Because I really believe God gives you whatever it is you love to do for one reason and one reason only. And that's just to be happy and to heal. That's it. So if you get a manager or you get a record deal or you made a lot of money or whatever, great. And if you can handle that and live a healthy life doing that, wonderful, good for you. But I'm going to take another little quote out of the Tao Leadership, that book I told you about earlier. And it said, be very weary of fame. Fame is a disease, and only those with the strongest mental and spiritual immune systems can handle it. So if you're going to go for it, just know that the most important thing you will ever win, ever achieve, is what you've already got. And that is every time you wake up, there's something you love to do. So whether you get an applause for it or not, doesn't fucking matter. The gift is the love for what you love to do. And you don't have to get a ripping applause or make money off of it to be joyous. And if you do, great, good for you. But do it because of that. Just be grateful. Just like waking up is a gift. Just breathing and being alive is a gift. No matter how hard it is, if you're breathing, there's no mother frickin' thing you cannot overcome. So make that be your source of your value, is that joy of what you love to do. Don't let anybody else determine your worth, or you won't make it. It'll kill you.